I wasn't impressed overly with Collaros. I think that he did enough. Like, he rebounded from that bad start, and the line seemed to pull it together a little bit because we had a bunch of questions about the left side of that offensive line. But I think they pulled it together. But I still have questions about Zach Collaros' arm strength. I thought a few of those balls looked a little weak, but that defense, I think, could be stellar. They could be the best defense in the league. I think Willie Jefferson is what a motor.
Yeah,
like he's a freak. I think was it last episode? I think was it Roddy and Murray called him a freak, and that's absolutely true. And I think he is the engine of that team in a way. I know Duran is the face of it, as we talked about, or this podcast talked about. But I think Willie Jefferson is the engine of this team, and I'm interested to see where that goes.
I liked what I saw at Zach Collaros. Like you, they didn't throw deep enough to really get a definitive assessment of the state of his throwing armor or of the Rough Riders' vertical passing game, if indeed there is one. There was the pass to Caleb Hawley for a 34-yard gain, but that was a mallard that ended up being rescued by conservationist Caleb Hawley. They tried the one down the left sideline in the end zone, Duran Carter, and he tried to make that patented one-handed catch. And then there was the one that led to the pass interference call for a 39-yard gain late in the game that played a key role in cinching the outcome. But when you look at this team, Stephen McAdoo likes a ball control passing attack, so you're never going to get this bombs away passing attack when Stephen McAdoo is your offensive coordinator, because a big play for a Stephen McAdoo passing attack is about 8 yards.
Yeah. Right.
So, but when you look at the weapons that they have, principally Duran Carter and Naaman Roosevelt, there should be, and there certainly is, some quick strike potential. And are they taking advantage of all their resources if they can't go over the top? And I think that's a lingering question about the offense. Zach Collaros on the intermediate passes, he was sharp. The first 10 passes he attempted between 10 and 16 yards downfield, they were all complete. Yeah. There was only one incompletion in that range. So they're fine there. But can they go over the top? Could they singe a defense? If that defense starts crowding in, trying to stop the running attack, which was pretty impressive, or at least pretty steady on Friday, and if they creep in to try and stop some of these shorter passes, do the Rough Riders have that capability to go above? And I think that's the question about the offense, the one that's still lingering after Friday.
Yeah, I'm happy you bring up Steve McAdoo, because that's something I think that a lot of people don't really talk about. In the past few years, the offensive coordinator was one of the most criticized person. I don't think you got that so much last year, and I think you're 100% right. People are saying, why aren't you going to, like, why isn't Collaros throwing it deep, or why isn't there more big plays? But I think that is just the structure of their offense. You saw Kevin Glenn kind of gunsling a little bit more last year, I think, but that was more maybe just Kevin Glenn letting it go downfield. But going back to Zach Collaros, I mean, that was obviously what everybody was looking at. And I kind of think of it as the way that, I mean, everybody had high expectations, of course, and this is his first game as a Rider under the big microscope. It was kind of like a batter in baseball getting rid of their hitting slump, though, right? He just needed to get that one win. I mean, it was 12 games without a win he hadn't had, so how much is that weighing on the back of your head, right? I don't want to say he's nervous. He seems like a very cool guy, cool and collected, but how could you not be thinking about that? And you're coming to the place where everybody's criticizing the quarterback more than anybody. How could you not be a little bit nervous and just trying to get out of that slump? So I think that's what you saw. I was actually looking back on the numbers and just kind of going through the game again yesterday. I was actually more impressed than I was the day of. I think a few times the O-line actually did better than people expected, but Collaros kind of let the pocket collapse on him, or he stepped up and ran into an offensive lineman in one case and pretty much sacked himself. But he just had to get over that hump. And, I think Collaros is an interesting quarterback, too, because years ago, I remember when, of course, he was Toronto, and then Hamilton throws bags full of money at him, and I was thinking, who is this guy? Is he really a top 3 quarterback in the CFL? I didn't believe it. I didn't believe the hype at all. And then the Riders go to Hamilton a couple years ago, and they put up, 50 points, and that never used to happen. The Riders used to always be strong against Hamilton, and that was when I started to realize, maybe Zach Collaros is the real deal. And that's when he was making the top 10 on the CFL, TSN top 50 list. Everybody was putting him in the top 10 players of the year, and I wasn't so sure about it, and I doubted him, and then he proved me wrong. And then now he went on a losing streak at the end of his Hamilton career, and I started thinking, well, maybe I was right after all. But no, I think that he does have the potential to be one of the best quarterbacks in this league. I think he has to get that rust off, and I don't know if McAdoo's system is going to help or hinder him do that.